All right, guys. So these sessions will be directly applying to OSCP exam. I hope that you have seen the OSCP syllabus as well. So most of you who are viewing this, I think you have covered the basics, but I wanted to start with the basics where you won't be missing anything, right? So that's the whole point. So as you are all aware, OSCP exam basically runs for 24 hours, and after even 24 hours, you'll be getting opportunity for you to write down a report. And if you do that particular course offered by Offensive Security, which is called the PWK course, which probably cost you around $900, it's very expensive. Yeah, and you'll be able to basically get 5 more additional points. So that's the marketing tactic, I believe. But anyhow, if you go into the PWK labs, which basically covers very interesting set of labs altogether. So they have this particular model, which I'm not going to talk too much about because it's not good. One reason is that this is going on YouTube as well, this particular session. So I don't want to get any, what you call as proprietary content being added here. But anyway, these labs are very interesting. So they have a basic architecture where you have to get connected through a VPN. So same setup will be there in the exam, guys. At any point, please stop me and ask if you have any questions, please. So they have a VPN connected architecture where you will have a student network and you have a, say a not staff, but this administrative network. There will have separate VPNs connected. And then there'll be sandboxes as well. So this is how basically, as they say, how it is structured. And every machine have something called a proof.txt file, right? Proof.txt file. First of all, am I audible enough, guys? Gishan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Right. So yeah. So there's this proof.txt file. You supposed to compromise, right? But the whole point is not to get that file. That is also needed. At the same time, sometimes some machines contain a file called network secret text file. So it's basically a text file. It's like a flag, like you have worked with. Most of you viewing this video, you know that will be basically working with flags and all that in CTF boxes over the wire and all that. So this is the same structure, but there's this secret text file also, which you have to collect, right? And also when you're doing all these activities, so I can't exactly show how to do it right here, but let me say, even if you're doing these exercises or whatever, you can have a, if you have a dual monitor setup, that'd be great. If you can Notion at one side, I think I explained about Notion, right? Or else if you are really a techie guy who don't want to make your notes on Vim or anything else, so you can have a dual screen here like this, and then so it's getting updated. So I'm using ZSH, right? So yeah, so you can basically have your notepad here loaded. So you can have nicer ones like, whatever you're using, Vim or Nano, or I think Sublime also, you can load it here. Or maybe there are other options if you're interested, right? So it's up to you to select whatever the note-taking tool. I prefer to use a kind of a visual tool to do use here. And sometimes I can use a kind of a notepad or a kind of a command line tool, and then probably I'm going to write a script to input all that to a better tool like Notion, because finally customizing that would be better. Or else you have other options like using LaTeX or anything, but you have to get bit mastery there. So that also, but that is also an option, guys. So it's up to you to decide which one to use, right? Okay. So let me keep a bit of a tab for it to load up. So I hope that you guys see the screen. So let me increase the font size a bit more. Right. So let's, okay, it's going through. Okay, it's updating a bit. Okay, let it update. So let me quickly go through now. So remember that point where you guys always have to do your notes taking, right? Do your note taking. So during the next few sessions, we'll have a look at how to build up a good note taking system as well. There are several options, but like I told you, to quick notes, you can do a Vim tool and then update it into some place like Notion. But I think offensive security basically recommends to use Evernote or anything that you like. Yeah, so that very important. And sometimes you have some restrictions also, right? So they say avoid changing user passwords in the real network that you're working with. Any firewall rules that you disable on a machine should be restored. So all these things that you have to do, right? So you have to have a bit of experience anyway. Anyone who is doing OSCP will be taking the PWK labs. So it's a mandatory. So you will be get some experience. And also you should not change the contents of network secret or proof text file, even the intention of doing exploitation into their network. And shutting down machines, not you can't do, kicking users off machines, blocking specific IP, blah, blah, blah. So all these things are there. And then, yeah, so, and also when you're writing the report, you should understand who will be your audience. That also something that you really need to, yeah, worry about. Yes, so those are the basics. I think you are well aware about these things. And if it's basically good to read some kind of notes and best practices written by people. I think that day I told you about go to the NetSec Focus website, and that website you have enough materials. And there's this guy who wrote The Journey to Try Harder, TGNR's preparation guide for PWK OSCP, and that's a very important reading. It has a lot of content starting from Kali to passive reconnaissance, active reconnaissance, to vulnerability scanning, buffer flows, privilege escalation, client-side attacks, password cracking, and into Active Directory enumeration. And all these things are, all the resources and lists are properly managed. So you guys can have a look at those as well. So please take your time to find good content. And because you guys have to work on this assessment thing, so getting this information is pretty important. So at the moment, is there anything question or having questions? Bevan, do you have any questions? You had all questions last time. Are you okay now? All good, right? Hope it's clear, no? Right. Am I audible enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, normally when you start your system, you have to start with your password. You have to change the password. This is not in the exam, right? But when you have a Kali box, so we are working with the initial workouts as well. So make sure that you say pass WD, and current password is when you get a Kali box is Kali. So I'm going to change it to same. I don't want to change it, right? Okay, not change because okay, I will say Kali 1 2 3. Kali 1 2 3. Yeah, so that's, I don't really want to change this box because I'm loading in this one time to time. So I just made it's Kali 1 2 3, and then obviously you know the ls command, those things you are well aware. So I will skip the most easy commands like ls minus al and all that, and pwd for knowing the present working directory. So if you can go back cd // and then do ls. So you can do ls minus al, you can get all the directories and all that. So please mind with me, be patient. Okay, we are working with the simpler ones as well. Can someone tell me what's the difference between the bin and the what the other one? You have bin and sbin, bin and sbin. So this is sbin and this is the bin. What would be the major difference here, guys? And you can remember, you can see that all belongs to root, not created by us or Kali user. The root user is here and his files will be here, and all the other users files will be in the home directory. And the bin and sbin, sometimes our install files go to sbin. Anyway, so that's be more than enough. So when you do a listing, you can do ls, and depending on what tags you use, how listings would look like would be differing. So I really don't want to go too deep into things right now. So let me check what is there. So I'm having the Kali user at the moment. If I want, I can create another user. But at the moment, I am having this particular directories. So now I'm in the desktop. So I have a folder called Lakmal. That's all that I'm having currently. And of course, when you wanted to know who are you, who belongs this shell, so you can do a who am I. So who am I? Yeah, who am I basically will tell you who will be the user, right? And also if you want, you can turn into this command and jump into who am I with the sudo, right? So then they will ask for the password. So I'm going to have it here. And then of course, what happens it will be converting itself to root. So hereafter you can see if I do a who am I. So currently, okay, so currently I'm the normal user, but if I do it this way, right, so you can get the super user's name here. So hope that is clear, guys. And also, you know, Kali, of course, this is also important. You have all these tools in the what you call as the visual editor as well. So information gathering tools too, vulnerability analysis tool, web application analysis tool, including burp suite, our favorite, and the password attack tools, wireless attack tools, reverse engineering tools. Like, yeah, we don't have a lot here, but Radar 2 is there. But remember, the original version does not come with everything. But if you want to install anything, of course, you are free to install these things at your ease, right? So it's not a hard job to do, basically because it's very easy for you to do this task. And remember, guys, I would give you some tasks for you to do. Whoever watching this also try to write down this task and try to do it. Right, but especially like the ones who are in the class today, you guys have to do these activities, right? These are lab activities which you can do, which you can record yourself using a video, or you can write a note or a blog, which can be very important to write up your assessment. Is that clear? Chethi, is that clear? Okay, no? I can't hear you
Okay,
anymore.
sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get.
Okay, good. Right. So then can we quickly go through this, the directories, like the bin, you have basic programs, we have looked at it. And if you want to do, I can do a ls, so you can start from here and do see what's inside this. So what you see here is basically the basic program. So the ls or the cd or whatever will be here. So guys, that is that one. And then of course the sbin, the next important folder, right? This is also a useful one. It's a system level program. So as you can see, when you read through ifdev config and many more things like lsmod or unlevel, many other tools, these are all system level programs. And where will you find the configuration files? Anyone? Yeah, in the etc folder. So etc folder, you can find all the configuration files when you read through these .d files, and all the other files will be there, like configuration files here. There's another configuration file. There's another configuration file for the type VNC server. So all these things are there. So that is done. And then the temp directory is there. I think that's quite normal for any system to have it. But then of course you have the bin and then the user. So those are, or the other way around actually, sorry. User bin, which is another important folder. Remember it always. So all your application files will go here. And of course, you can see all the cooler files like ls, not ls, like netcat, nmap, and all these things, right? So if you can do a, you can understand, like if you do a which, okay, which I think which would work, no? Which nmap. Yeah, you can see it's in the user bin folder. So all our installed applications will be here, or we can do Nikto. Nikto is a great tool. Yeah, it's also there. Or if I use Nessus, I don't know where Nessus is here. Okay, Nessus is not there. Maybe burp. Okay, so that's also not there. Anyway, so normally you can find most of those files. Oh, what's happened? All right. Okay, so that's good. Okay, that's right. Okay, let me try to. Okay, so I don't have a really good or properly set up VM box. That's probably the problem. But anyway, let me quickly close this down. Okay, again, it's good. Right. Fine. So now I think you know the basic directories which is used heavily. And of course, then the most important, one of the most important commands would be the man page. As we said, manual page. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. These are the basic ones that you've been learning throughout. So really don't want to go through it. But remember, manual pages have sections, guys. So there's a section called 1, 2, 3 up to 8. So if I open up a man page, sometimes you can even see those sections here, right? So depending on what you want to learn, you can jump into sections. So that's something that a lot of people are not aware of. Right, so people just browse, scroll through, or you can use a grep and search for things. These are okay, but sometimes these are quite slow in that sense. So you can always do kind of use these say options to jump into a specific section. That's always is good. And also you can do a keyword search as well. So I think there's this tag call, use the term tag here after, or you can use option parameter as well. You can do some search also. If I do man password, right? Okay, that's basically manual page. But if I do this, guys, this is important. Right, so if I do man tag K password, now see what's going to happen here, right? So this will list down all the manual pages which has this password keyword. So it's how fast it to search things. So sometimes to get your like if you can't remember a command and all that, this is a nicer way of doing that. I hope you guys got it, Gishan. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think some of you probably are using this every day, right? Sorry if I'm doing the same thing, but I think you have to start from the scratch on some of the aspects. It will be great, right? And also you can do regular expressions as well. So let me like this narrow down in a case if I wanted to get password, probably I would say in the start of the file or anything like that. So similarly, I can write down multiple, how would I say, multiple regular expressions, right? So it's up to you to decide how to do that. So if I say something like this, had password $, right? So yeah, so that will list down only 3, right? So likewise, like you have to understand, okay, now it will not search for HT password or LDA password or MK password. It only check for password only, right? So that's the value here. So you can do quick search depending on that. Any questions on that? Okay, then of course we have another tool to do the same called aprops, right? Apropos. It's very hard to pronounce those things, right? So there you can do the same thing. Say password. Yeah, I think it releases the same thing as tag K. So that's also another tiny or a cooler command that you can remember. Apropos, right? So I don't know how to really pronounce them. We don't use them heavily, but yes, that you can use at any time. So then, of course, moving commands, creating a directory, those things are probably not the most important ones, but let me create a directory called temp, or we can say OSCP class 1, OSCP1. So let me go there. Right, so I'm in this directory which I've created. And then of course, guys, what you can do is you can do multiple, if you want to create multiple folders, there's nothing here. You can do mkdir A, B, C, or C, D, and E. Yeah, so then what you can do, you can find is like, you can see all these directories. So if you can do ls -l, you can see all directories are there. So you can do things faster, much faster in Linux, as you know. This not only Kali, this is similar to everything that you do. And of course, similarly, you can do rm command to remove directories. So that is also there. And then, of course, you can use bit of regular expressions also if you wanted to do kind of different types of, I would say, different types of folder creation processes. As an example, if you want to create a folder called test, and inside that I wanted to create multiple folders, right? Okay, there's some other student came in. Right, so I wanted to create test 1, right? Test 2, okay, test 2 and test 3. So this is like creating these folders inside the test folder, which is cool, right? And this, curly brackets allows me to, oops, there's some problem. What is that? Hold on. Let me remove these spaces for a moment. Oh, that's fine. So you have this test folder. Let me go to the test folder or directory, as we said. So if you look at, you can see the 3 directories: test 1, test 2, test 3. And so now you understand what these are there, right? Okay, so then of course, like I said, now we have created files, you know, locations that, and then you can find where basically executable located using the which command. So, but this to work now, say if I do which nmap, this works. I'll tell you why, because this nmap is in the path for path directory. So not path directory, path global variable. So I can echo the global path variable, like something like I think path is there. Yeah, so you can see in the global path variable, which is should be there for everyone to check on things, referencing. I can see the sbin is there, the bin is there, and the user bin is there, and sbin, just sbin is there, just bin is there. All these things are there. So if any file is located in this proper pathways, then which command would be able to find it? Is that clear, Tivanka?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. Okay. So I think still you don't have any questions. So which command is pretty useful, guys. So please remember it all the time and use it whenever possible. But remember, you need to have your files in that in the global variables in the path. Otherwise, it won't work in that way. Similarly, of course, you can use with reference to which. There's another one called yeah, locate. Now here locate will find you all the places where you will have anything related to nmap, right? So that is another valuable thing about the locate variable or locate search. So it's basically a search tool. Locate is a search tool which guys would have a database, right? So if you look at there's this database called update db. There I will find all the details about like this textual information. So you can quickly use that tool to find it. And also there's another, because you find, there's a tool called find as well. So using the find tool as find tool also, you can try to figure out information. But remember, by just doing these commands won't help you, because in the real world situations, you have to collect all these things together and do work with, right? So yeah, so similarly, like, you know, try to locate some files, do some examples, guys. Always try to do some experiments with these given modules, right? Or given tools. Is that clear? So you can do a kind of a experiment, like use the which file to locate the pwd command. So today I'm not going to ask you to do these things, but later on, what I'll do is I'll ask you to do these special activities and you can answer me. So then and there. So that sort of a kind of a rapid Q&A sort of like experiments can be done. If you can do those things, you'll be easily be easily be converted to somebody who can do OSCP fast. Okay, any questions? Okay, I think you guys are okay. So actually that's the end of that simpler session. So let me start a new one now. Okay. Okay, now we'll discuss about one of the most important tools which you have to use in Kali boxes, a tool like SSH, right? So SSH or any other specific tool that you're supposed to run, like a web server and all that. So these tools, you have to understand, these are services, not only tools, just tools which you can run like find or grep or cut or something like that, but these are services. So in Kali, this can differ from the system to system. So we have a command called Systemctl, right? So that's the command. So let me, yeah, Systemctl. Yeah, so you have this command which you can use to run a service like SSH. So you have to say start SSH. Sometimes you have to use sudo. Reason being, you have to have the authentication, as it says here. You have to put the password here. So you can do that way, or you can simply to work with this sudo. Okay, so they will ask for the password, which I'm going to run. Now, of course, you can do it again if you want to, but the system is running. SSH is running. So how do you find the system is running? Yep. So it's easy to work with. You can probably do a PS and see whether that particular service is running as a process, or else you have another tool called SS, which is very familiar for people who deal with a lot of services. this SS tool can basically find out which you do tag as ANTLP antelope, right? So you can find some services up and running. So you can see SSHD service is running on local port 22, right, which is customary, right? So now not only you do this, and then you have to see whether this SSH thing is running. So then of course you have this filtering tool, cutting tool, grep, and then go SSH or SSHD to make it perfect. So it shows with color, okay, yes, these buggers are running and they are listening on these ones. Of course, you can do NS, what is that? There are different tools to weave the network connection sockets and all that. Socket connection. So this is also like looking at the sockets actually, SS, right? So there are other tools which you can use to look at all the socket connections. So there are different tools that you can use. And if you really wanted to run SSH forever, like, you can do another utility Systemctl, but rather than saying start SSH, you can say enable SSH, which will put it into the services, list of services which you have to run when system loads up, right? So similarly, we can start our HTTP service. So guys, remember in the world of Kali or Linux, we normally use Apache. Of course, there are many other better ones, but Apache is one of the main HTTP web servers. So if you don't have it, guys, you will give a return error. But normally, like if it's running, so you can see now it's running. Obviously, if I can do a SS antelope tag, I can see Apache is also running. So it's a bit complicated. There are a lot of things, the PID and the FD4 and many more details here. So you'll get to know these things at the latter end sessions, right? So similarly, it's good to work with Systemctl, and it has different, lot of different combination of methods to do monitoring and dashboarding and things like that. So let me go and do a one particular, okay, okay, Systemctl. Okay, that's good. Okay, so you find a lot of messages popping up into the Systemctl, and one thing that you can do specifically, right? So this is another nice command. You can list all say unit files. So there are different options which are available. You should read the man page here, but you can see the services which are running and say disabled and all these things. Okay, so are you guys following everything? Sometimes it can be a bit boring, but remember these are this great toolkits which you have to do all those crazy hacking, exploitation, I don't know, closing down exploitations and whatsoever. Right, guys? Okay. Now, if I wanted to update my system, search, install, or remove tool, what tool that we have to use in Kali, like Debian-based systems?
wget?
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is, if you want to install packages, there are two options here. If you're doing it online, there's a nice little command called apt. Have you heard about apt-get or apt? Apt is actually the main tool. It's a package manager, right? Have you heard about it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So apt is the best tool there. So apt is a kind of a cool tool. As you can see, there are a lot of information here as well. So the app list is command is the app search, app install, app pre-install. Yeah, so all these are there. So let me check first if you're not doing anything on using app. So it's good always to do update, right? And keep your app, because apt uses a cache, basically a kind of a data cache, right? Which basically handles all the installed and removed or purged. Purge is like removed again in a kind of a more sophisticated way. So you can have a look at all your implementations, installations, right? Deployments. So it's good to have an update always and make sure that there's this system cache about the applications all get updated. At the same time, they can build these thing called dependency trees. So it's good because sometimes you can't simply just install application, because you need, as an example, if you want to use something like say Nmap, maybe you need the C databases or C files. So without having it, that can be a bit difficult. And unfortunately, my internet speed is very low. Because of that, it's taking a bit of a time. It's running on 0.5 MB. Anyway, I have a lot of complaints again, what the Dialog SLT Mobitel are doing these days. Because we are at home, we want to work more, but the internet speeds simply clog up our work, which is quite unfortunate. That's if I'm going from Sri Lanka for whatever reason, one of the biggest reasons would be top reason would be internet connectivity. I don't say there's no other problems, but if you wanted to have a good living, yes, you have to have at least a good internet connectivity to do our tasks. Anyhow, so once you do app update, guys, so which I'm doing right now, I can do app upgrade. I would never do that here right now because it might download a lot of software which can simply ruin my time here because I'm on a very slow connection here. Right. Of course, one reason would be I'm using a Zoom at the moment, but still, I think that's not going to be a big deal. I actually bought an unlimited connection. Unfortunately, unlimited works at a very low speeds, which is crazy and stupid on the provider side. Anyway, so this apt is another great tool. And of course, Inosha had mentioned DPKG. Right? DPKG is a great tool, but only thing remember, what is the disadvantage downside of DPKG, Inosha? What would be the downside of DPKG or Debian-based packaging tool? Yes,
So
guys.
first we have to download the package
Oh,
to
yes.
our
So
system. Then
exactly. So this is offline basis. So DPKG tool is mainly set up to do online, right? Sorry, offline. So you have to download the toolkit and then yeah, so work on that. And apt itself has a lot of commands. One of the common commands that people do run, right? Oh, sorry, I was typing in there. All right, so apt has a command called apt cache. Probably you have used this command before, right? So apt cache, and I can search for NSS, so I don't say nmap or something, right? So I can see whether it's being referred earlier and being downloaded earlier or things like that. And then of course, then you have apt show command, and then finally, of course, the most important command is we can always use sudo apt install, and depending on which you want to install, say VLC media player or if TPD or whatever, you can install it. And I'm not really worrying about it. I don't have to install anything right now. That if I had haven't had Excel, which is a great tool to download things. Okay, sorry, install. That will be a great addition. So it's the thing is Excel already I'm having. Maybe I don't have wget just for you to show how it works out. Okay, that's also there, right? So depending on whatever you don't have, you can install it here. So VLC maybe. I think that's the name is not just VLC. Yes. So you get something like this. It will get down all the additional packages will be installed. So there are lot is needed, right? As you can see. And then new packages will be installed. Some of the packages, if they are older versioning, they will change that as well. So I don't want to install this right now. So that will do the basic installation. And if you want to remove anything, you have to use this option called purge. A purge option will remove things easily. And like I told you, DPKG is the other option, but I'm not going to do anything using that. But if you can use the manual pages, you can see all the great details and options that is available to work with this DPKG or Debian Package Manager. Right? Anything you want to clarify now? So we have came a long time, or we came a long way now. Yes, so this will be a multi-part series. So end of the session, probably because I'm covering the full OSCP syllabus, it'll end up into 100+ videos most possibly. But let's see. So you guys also can do things, but I want you to work on the harder jobs, harder things, right? Up to this point, I think all this fine. So next, of course, you tend to use a lot of echo commands, right? So one is, of course, the most important one would be the path. So where you can get the path information, similarly user, right? So actually it should be caps. So this is case sensitive, obviously, right? So the user now is Kali, guys, right? So so if you want, I can go SU and then I can say Kali 1, 2, 3, right? Then obviously I'll be changing into root. Okay, what happened? Okay, some issues there. Let me check. Okay, there's a small issue, but it doesn't matter. Let me check. Who am I? Okay, all good. So we'll not worry too much about that. But if you say echo pwd, so in caps, you can get the pathway, and finally you can do echo home to see where we are, right? So that is also another important one. And also sometimes, guys, say as an example, if I want to do this, so always I need to if I want always to say run a command always all the time, I say a command called ping, right? I can say my ping or something, right? My ping equals let me check whether this is going to work. Ping say www.google.lk. I think it should work. Okay. I think I should have a kind of a different schema of masking this. I give you a simple example. Don't worry, but the idea is if I do it right, so rather than always typing this ping thing, I can just say my ping. So that will run the command. Okay, so the ZSH I have issue, but if you bash, I'm not going to do it now, that can work. So if I can do export, I can say my IP, which is say 888.8.8.8.8, which is the global DNS, which I want to ping. So if I say ping my IPP, okay, so that will do the rest. Okay, so okay, name of service. Okay, so something is missing there. I don't know why. This should work. Let me check. Yeah. IP name of service. Okay, sorry. Truly, like I did the mistake. Dollar should be there. No? Yeah, that would work. Yeah, thanks. Right. So you can't simply just call that variable. Okay, that's cool, no? So then I can do things faster, much faster. I don't want to remember the IP addresses, so that exporting and getting all the values and would be very useful, right? So yeah, okay. So you can see these values are already there, right? So but remember, if I use another shell, if I do a ZSH, so I'm in a different place now. If I do environment, okay, still it's available. But if I'm going to a new one, probably you might not find them. So I'll say exit because I'm in a one shell. So yeah, I can remember, you can in Linux and of course in Kali, you can have multiple shells. So that's very much of a interesting thing that you can do. Yeah, so ideally, like if you go to a new shell, sometimes you might not be having those variables because these variables are exported to that shell and that space. So sometimes you might find that problem. And then guys, one of the coolest commands that you can find is the history command. This is very useful, guys. Why? Because you might have to run things again and again and again. So this one say Excel or something, this one 269. If I want to run this, I have to just say 269 with ampersand, right? So that it will bring that one and then I can run that, right? Invalid install. Okay, that's okay, but it worked out, right? So I can just bring anything on from the history, right? So that can be very useful. So otherwise you can just use your arrow keys to get whatever the history commands which is there. Okay, so it's a lot that we covered now, right? Any question up to this point? Anything? I think for most of you, this session would be a bit easier. But again, maybe some of you have not probably covered all aspects of it. So it's good. And then, of course, you can to do redirection. So this is piping and redirection. Both are very useful because these tools can be used in combination to do great things. So as an example, if I wanted to echo something like I love OSCP, right? And that is something that I can echo like this. Or I can echo it, but not to the what is it? The terminal, but I can say OSCP.text. Right. So then if I'll check here, I can see the OSCP.text, which I can cat it OSCP.text. I can see whatever redirected the text which I really wanted to use. Right. So then redirecting, you can do so many crazy stuff, right? So you can even redirect to existing files. So next time if I do this, yeah, so I can redirect additional one. So something like that for a extending purpose. So if I weave now, I can see two things, right? So, but if I do this, let me check what will happen. Yeah, so it will overwriting things. So to extend it, yeah. So now another one, another one, another one, another one. So if I check it now, I can see 6 of them. Right, so that is the importance of redirecting to existing file. Similarly, I can redirect it to a command also, that is which is really cool. WC for word count, so I can see, I can get my OCP text and then it says 72 words. Right, so there are so many crazy stuff that you can do, obviously, which I'm not going to talk too much. And then let me do this the other way around, the same thing, bit in a different way. So I'm going to get the cat of this, so that you have seen earlier as well, but I'm going to do something cooler this time. I'm going to pipe, right, this again to WC. So there are different ways of doing the same command. So this is same as this one. So now see how different they are. Like, so this is the cooler thing that you can do as a hacker, especially offensive hacker. You can use these simpler tools, are the most powerful tools, guys. These are like Siswami knives together, right? So you can use them in combination to do great stuff, to create great projects, right? So then, of course, we have the most widely used tool of all, which is the grep, which is fascinating tool. So it can basically search text files of occurrence of regular expressions. So that is the important thing. This is so powerful, guys. Really, really, really powerful, right? So let me check, like as an example, if I wanted to do check so these are the, now hereafter I can give you like some classical challenges. Say I wanted to find out how many different type of zip related applications which is installed, right? So how do you do that? That's a quick challenge. So I'm going to create several challenges in a place where everybody can take it and do it. I'll probably create that place. I think there are some, all the existing websites which have something similar, but let's see. Yes, guys, can you think of a method to find out zip related? Say there are files like bzip, sorry, application like gunzip, gzip, bunzip, right? So lot of zip related applications are there. So how do you do this? Of course, you can do a grep zip, but you don't know where is it, right? Just you can just say grep zip, it won't find a lot of things. It is searching, see, it doesn't know where to search. You take a long search, which is not what we need. So rather, if you can do ls, and then where do you find those install files in the user bin? So I'm going to do now grep zip. So this will give you a better insight. Okay, that's great, right? So I can see bunzip, bzip, funzip, right? So there's one called funzip. Just in case, you can just do, maybe there's some ransomware also, who knows? And unzip, zip, zip clock, zip details. Okay, that's a lot. So let me do a listing to get more details of it. Do a -la or tag la as we say it, and then you can get about details of those files and when it's installed. I'm really worried February 2, I've not been using the one. So likewise, you can get an idea about what's really happening there. Right. Is that clear, Gishan? Are you, did you follow that exercise or challenge?
Yes, sir.
Right. I think some of you, I know I'm telling, you know, again and again, some of you have like these things you've been doing for almost 10, 20 years. So just mind with me, but we are coming to the great stuff or the difficult stuff in the next one. Okay. And how many of you have worked with the SED tool? Is it, sorry, is SCD tool? Yep. SCD tool. SCD is a stream editor. We call it a stream editor. So you can do a man offset. Okay, it's a stream editor. There are a lot of options here. I don't want to read through. It's a very boring task. But say if I say I love OSCP and I'm going to get it by December, something like that. Okay, it should be December. Hi, December. Right, so that's good. And then I wanted to update this stream of a text stream. So let me do a sed and I'm going to do a tag and then s slash, I would say wherever it's a love, right? I would like to replace that with love not, right? So love dot d, something like that, to make it more Greeky, right? Okay. Now what happens is, oh, what happened? Okay, that's bad. Give me a sec. S, I think, okay, there should be a space in between here. So, oh, what is happening? Give me a sec, right? Okay, obviously this one is fine. Then I have a Z. Then okay, I'm doing it right. Okay, I think this is the problem. Okay, I think this should be in this way. And oh no, anyone can help me here? What is the mistake that I'm doing? I think that is fine. Did I do any mistake? Okay, so what I'm going to do is get that. I don't have any lab. Oh, no, you have lab, no? Break it and yeah, all good. So basically, it should replace the love with love, not D. I think, but this okay, that's fine. So I love not the OSCP, right? So I changed that stream to something else. So hope it's clear. So the set tool is, this is like the scratching the base or scratching like simply, and I can do great things with it. So yeah, with this tool and the cut tool and the grep tool, we can do marvelous things. And I'm not going to do everything. Yeah. So, but yeah, you should be able to work out things like that. Okay.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sorry, what that S flag is doing?
It's like a replacement. It's like the replacement. So let me do a Z. So it says the replacement. So that's what we did, right? Yeah. And separate and replace. Separate.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And then there are many options. Null data health version. Yeah. So that's an iceberg altogether. There are so many things inside. And then what you can do, guys, is that you can try this out to log analysis. These tools said cut, awk, right, rep. So you can use it now, especially like you might have to analyze a log file, right? So when you want to analyze a log file, you can get the log file and you can sort it, cut it, and probably replace it with, and maybe you have to find out a specific IP address, and all these challenging exercises are there, right? Is that clear? Right, so I'm going to give you a homework sort of thing. So go to an etc password file. So I think you all have seen the etc password. Sorry, cat etc password. You can find passwords in hash. Oh, okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. Right, so you can use this file, and what you can do is basically you can extract all the password files from it. So you might have to use a cat and also maybe a grep and maybe a cut. So try to use this combination of simpler tools and try to write a small script, and when you pass the password file, you'll be able to get that. Hope that is clear. And of course, yeah, so let me do it. Oh, okay, I think that will stop, because the next session I will do. So this is a simpler one, but what I'll do, guys, like I told you, I'm not going to waste a lot of time of yours just to do these activities. I'm going to record the rest of the sessions and upload. I'll probably record a few hours of content from the syllabi, and then you guys will have to look at it, and then we can go to more detailed stuff which you have missed. But some of the content, like say as an example, buffer flows already I covered. Format strings and drop will not be coming normally, but that knowledge is very useful. But of course, when it comes to overflowing, we have to look at two examples of a Windows overflow and a Linux overflow. I think Linux overflow I already done. I'll do a Windows overflow, and then of course there's another one big section which is on Active Directory, which I'm going to do. Anyway, I'm going to do it in serial order, so you will be not missing anything. So if you are wanting to learn about these things, I'll be having all my recordings. I think this will be valuable for a lot of you, and this will be there online for you to access it as well. And I'm going to do a singular version of it, not for the master student, but for students that are struggling. So that will be there in my other channel, which you can access. Okay, so but what I want to do is to remind you. Let me stop this session for the moment. Recording.